Múin 5. Inspire, imagine, create.
I actually began by painting graffiti when it wasn't really as acceptable as it is now, and the early years were very much about sneaking out, painting, and the learning, which everyone needs to go through when they're being a creative. You have to go out and try something and make a mess, and but the part that I took from that was the sense of community in graffiti culture and spray paint, and what you could do with acrylic paint in a can, and how that's developed in the last 15 years as well. The idea that it was more about the process. When you were painting a wall, all you were ever going to get was a picture, and then you had to leave it behind. And so you became less attached to the actual finished outcome, but more the experience of being able to create something. And that's really important for humans, to be able to have a moment to create. I think that's often what people really crave, is a space where they could just let it all out, but often we're contained and we don't have the space for that. So it's about giving yourself that opportunity to find a bit of space and let that grow as you feel comfortable. That part of graffiti culture taught me so much about the importance of enjoying the moment, and the freedom then in painting outdoors like that was that you actually could go as big as you wanted. There was no limits, and all you do is get your paint, bring it to the wall, and just start. And that first line where you just kind of go boldly, make a mark, would be the most exciting part to get into it, and that raw feeling. So that's something that I still use now in my process. I put down the canvas and I actually paint them flat at the moment, and I'll just start, and whatever mark I make to begin with is most likely not going to exist. So it's not to worry about, oh, is this going to be right or wrong? It's more about enjoying that letting go. We just go, whew. So that feeling of release is the first step, and then you start to get into it. Often we don't let ourselves start for fear of failure, or that it's not going to be good enough, or the perfectionist in us goes, oh, it's not the right moment. The truth is, from my experience, there's never a right moment. Work on creating that space for yourself, which is a very mindful practice where you go, well, I'm just going to give myself this time, and whatever happens, it is what it is. I'm not expecting too much from it. I'm just going to enjoy it. So when I paint, I lash out at the canvas, or I'll like get a bit of a pin and stab the can, and it might explode. And the experience of working with paint like that meant I didn't have time to think, and that's where I started to find joy, when I wasn't thinking so much. Whatever you need to do in that moment is right for you, and after you've had that experience, you'll learn that it feels freeing. And I think that's the most important part, to feel free, especially when we live in a world that's so restricted, or there's so many expectations, that to give yourself 10, 20, 30 minutes just to even make a mark and to let it out is just unbelievable. That feeling of just observing yourself and what's happening in the process is so exciting that everything else just dissolves and your worries and your fears go away. And I feel that's where creativity allows us space to feel what's going on in ourselves in that day. That's what Galway has. It has a really big sense of community. And while we're a city, we're still very entangled, and our kind of windy roads and everything mean that you always bump into people and you have that sense of belonging. In 2014, I ended up working with the local enterprise office, who helped me set up my business and to understand the importance of that structure so that I had the freedom to work as a creative all the time. Really, whatever you start with, once you've had a bit of time, the experience will teach you that it's not about creating the perfect moment, but just enjoying it for what it is. The idea of art sometimes is very personal, and for me, the way I paint is to allow the work to come to life. In Galway, we're so exposed to the elements that I feel like it hits me harder here, and that might be something other people feel as well when nature it brings you down or brings you up. And what I found is that even the rainiest days sometimes can be the most interesting, because if I was to work outdoors and it would I might get rain in mixed with the paint and it would water it down or something. While you might think that's bad, actually it can be very interesting. So allowing yourself the freedom to go and play in nature is really inspiring and brings a lot of joy as well. I'd say that's why so many are drawn here, that sense of playfulness within the community, and why not have a bit of fun and do things. So I feel very lucky to be here. I think painting outdoors in this city was maybe not the best choice, but I think every life needs challenges.
This video was brought to you by Creative Ireland, Local Enterprise Office Galway, the IDA West Region and Galway City Council. Múin 5. Inspire, imagine, create.